Alright, Bob, this is what I propose after test driving the car. Obviously just sitting here, I can hear the throwout bearing since it's been riding on there for the 11,000 miles. So I think we should pull the transmission out and just put a throwout bearing in it. The clutch and pressure plate will be just fine. And then we'll get the clutch adjusted right. As far as this head gasket leaking, I'm thinking the head's not torqued right. So I think we just pull the valve cover off and just retorque the head and make sure it's torqued down right. There's no reason that head gasket should be leaking. Even if it's just some inferior non-geo head gasket, because I'm such a... I just am so into using the factory stuff. But even an aftermarket head gasket really shouldn't leak. So I think it's just not torqued right. I'm guessing that maybe the threads on the head bolts didn't get lubed, and they just bound up and before the bolt became tight. The next thing is, and I know this, I'm going to assume the water pump's new since you just had the motor rebuilt, but you can see the top of the water pump, the drip hole is leaking on the top. The belt doesn't seem too tight. So this has, if you've seen my previous videos on aftermarket water pumps from local parts stores going out, you know, in 10, 20, 30,000 miles, I think that's what you got going on there. So we should put a water pump on it. But you know, if you said you didn't want to do it for a few thousand miles, it'll probably go that. I'm not going to give you the big scare tactic on it because I know you just had a bunch of work done to it. The next thing is the front brakes, and I know you told me to put brakes on it, but the front brake pads are mostly wore out. The rotors look like they've never been turned before, so that'll be nice. So we'll just clean them up. It's probably just had multiple pads put on it. I always do fronts and rears together, so I haven't even pulled the back apart. I did spin them though, and you can hear this camera's terrible, won't pick it up, but you can hear the wheel bearings roll as you spin it, so it'll pop some bearings in it, and I do that as part of a brake job anyhow, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to keep this video fairly short to send to you. Oh, the other thing is on that clunking noise, I'm pretty confident that it's just that back motor mount, but I was driving it, I was rolling through a parking lot just lightly on and off the throttle. I hear that clunking noise you're talking about, and I really want to say it's that back motor mount, but I guess I know it lifted when you were here and we were trying it, so I know it's bad, but I think we have to change that to see if this noise goes away, because really that's the only one that lifts and drops. The other ones are transverse to them, so they don't have that lifting problem. They twist well, they're just transverse to it. You've got that one where it lifts up and down, and this one that pivots it sideways, and these just don't make that clunking noise. So anyhow, I think we should just put a mount in there. They're inexpensive, they don't take long to change. And then the car needs an alignment. I'm sure you realize that I know you've got, looks like new tires on it, but the wheel is turned, and it looks to me like somebody's just towed it in, the front wheels, until it drives straight, but I think it's trying to rip the tire off the treads. But in all honesty, I don't see it on the treads, but the wheel's not straight, and it just doesn't, I can just feel it doesn't just go down the road straight like it's supposed to. But at any rate, that's something we can get done after this. Where else are we at on this thing? There might have been something else on your... Oh, it's got an exhaust leak. And I haven't taken a peek at it yet, but I'm guessing that it's just the donut here, and when you get on the throttle really hard, it leaks more. It almost made me feel like the catalytic converter was partially plugged, and as you really got on the throttle, it leaked more because it couldn't get it through the exhaust. But that's something that just needs to be checked out. I got the camera pointed down here because I was just trying to see if I could see the exhaust leak, maybe around that donut, since it's tightened up with springs. But definitely you can hear that exhaust leak when you get on the throttle, so that needs to be dealt with no matter what. And I don't see any gasket leak around the manifold itself. And then there's always a possibility there's just a hole in the exhaust. Again, I didn't slide underneath it yet. Let me know what you want to do on that, where you want to start, and we'll make that happen.